Okay. Hold on one quick second. Okay, everyone. All right. So the reason why I'm coming on here is because there was some confusion on a few things. One was the layout, having a layout, a default layout to the type of layout that I use on our charting. And we were supposed to have where that default layout, when you log in, it automatically goes to that default layout. And then up here, you could change it. You could rename it, make a copy, make your own layout, and so forth. I think that's been fixed where it will automatically default. So that was one thing. I'm going to go over that in just a second. And the other was the screens. Few things about using it, the toggling. So I just want to go over my layout and show you exactly how I set up my screen. It's very basic. And this is it right here, actually. And then also how I go through the screens, because I think I'm actually using our screens over even the Market Surge now. And I still use Market Surge, but it's much quicker and using the toggle buttons. And that's one of the problems I've had with Market Surge. I've been telling them for years that they got to speed up their servers or something because it's really, I screen very quickly. I can see what I want in a split second. So I'm toggling through them very quickly. If you want to spend less time and more time and you're slower, maybe that's fine. But I'm finding that I'm able to go through the work quicker with this platform. So first of all, I set up the layout where I have the RPR up at the top. This is the equivalent of the relative strength, the IVD relative strength. We have a very similar calculation. We scale it to 100 as opposed to 99. It's a little bit more front weighted, but the numbers are, if you compare them, if they're like 83, ours is like an 84, an 85, 82, 83. It's right around the same usually, not always, but there are some scenarios where we diverge a little bit, but very close. So a good substitute for that if you're used to using the IBD relative strength. The intervening pressure is a short term. It's based on just short term technical action, and you generally want the pressure to be off and it to be green. You have red and you have green. I keep these stacked here, the buy risk and the pressure. And the pressure, you can be on red if you're coming off of a low cheat or even a cheat, generally in a handle, a pattern that has already gone up the right side. You really want it to be off pressure. You could be on pressure if you're coming off your bottom picking a low, you're doing a bottom fishing sort of low cheat bottom fishing pivot, but with the caveat that once it pivots and it moves out, you want it to turn green and get off of pressure within a day or two. It should at least very quickly afterwards. The buy risk, you really want to be green. And the way I would look at this is if it is yellow, you want to definitely be green on pressure. If it's green, you could still go red pressure, like I said, if you're coming off of the low cheats, because the buy risk is more longer term. And this is basically to look at the stock and say, hey, does this meet that leadership profile of having the technicals in place, that this is something that we want to consider? And then from there, you still got to look at the chart and you've got to decide whether there's, you got to grade the base and look for the pivot points and VCP action and all that. But it's letting you know that the trend and the certain elements that we would look for are in place. And you're going to find that, not sure if there's any stocks that we've bought. If we go to open positions here, as we toggle down, you'll see, let's see, green, green. So this is again green. I'm looking at the buy risk now, remember. And you see how this now pulled back and it's coming off of a pullback buy now. See, now it's under pressure. So if you're on a pullback buy, you're coming off the lows, you may be under pressure. But that should get off of pressure pretty quickly. So BCO, yeah, green. And most of these you're getting the double barrel green. Of course, now seen on the short side, it's just the opposite, right? We got all red. And that's exactly what we want to see. We got a lot of violations. We've got a lot of red here, and we've got the low RS. So it's just the exact reverse picture on the short side for Cisco. GLD, now see, we're coming off of this little pullback to the 50 and coming back into this. Now, again, this isn't showing today. This is yesterday's close, so I'm not sure we'll see today if this goes off pressure. But again, you see how it can go on pressure as it's coming off the lows. IBIT, green, Lily. Yeah, you see that you're not going to see me make any buys. That the buy risk is on red, possibly yellow. Again, coming here where you're tight here, you might be yellow, but I would wait until even if you're on yellow, you got off of pressure, and that's coming up this right side. They actually both went green, and you could see that very before a breakout, you're almost always going to be set up with these gauges. Then the other thing too is once you are maybe prior to buying or after you buy, and the stock, maybe a stock that you bought and is up a bit, something like Lilly. Uh, this now you can see here and go to your net and see the net confirmations violations. So the confirmations are outweighing the violations here. And then you go in here and see, you have a pullback and see, okay, what was happening on that day or the previous days. You can look at the 5 days on the right side. Sorry about that. And go and start getting forensic and looking what's going on. If there are violations, what were they? Are they starting to pile up? And this should really keep you on the right side of the tracks here. With all this information right here, this upper register of these 4 indicators, if you will, that should really keep you on the right side. You should not be fighting that, and certainly not for very long. So that's my layout on the bottom here. And I have a 20-day, a 50-day, a 200. I sometimes will put in a 10-day if I want to. Maybe I got a tech stock, it's in a real strong uptrend, it's been holding the 10-day. Maybe I'll put a 10-day up, and if it closes below the 10-day, that'll be something to get my attention. Use a 50-day moving average on the volume, and just have the volume colored, of course, blue and red. Using also the red and the blue on the closing bars here, the high, low, and close, and you could set this so it is a change from the previous day, which would mean if it's down from the previous day's close, it will turn red. There is a button in here that you can change that, and I like it set from the previous day. This is just moving around here. This is that measurement tool, so if you want to measure the distance, that's nice. So now let me go down to the screens. The thing I like about the screens, and here we've got all these various screens. This pretty much is going to cover. If you can't find it in these screens, you're probably you're just not finding it. It's not there because these nets are casted pretty wide to be able to find virtually every stock that's setting up in a way that we would be interested in the market. If you want to really look for those right sides, the tight price volatility with volume vacuum. This is looking at not only the price, but the volume as well, and really zooming in to find those spots where it tightens up and the volume comes down. And that's what, optimally want to see. So this is a great quick screener. Now, if you're going through here, this is what I like. And you got to visualize the 4 buttons on your screen on a laptop. I'm sorry, on a device like a iPhone or something, it's going to be different. But on a computer, you have these up and down arrows, right? I can go up and down, or I can if I hit the left toggle, it brings up the list here, and that list is the list of your watch list here. And as you change the order, if you take this on deck and you move this up here, when you come back down here, watch this. On deck goes to the top. The reason why we did that is because if you put a second click of the left one, it adds that to the list, right? So here's why it's nice. I can literally go like this. I go down, down, down. Okay, I like that one. Tap, tap. It goes right to that list. I go down. Okay, I like that one. Tap, tap. Now, if I want to put it to a different list, I come down here, I see this one. Oh, you know what? This is my low cheat list. I go tap, and I go down to one of the other lists, add it to my watch. Now I go hit the left, it goes to that list. Now I come up here, and you can see I have in the watch list, the one that I scroll down, the ones that I'm double tapping are just going to that top list. It's very, very effective, and if you set it up right and you'll use it properly, you can really go through very quickly and organize, and you don't have to start dragging and dropping and all this stuff that takes so much time and is just aggravating. And you can do this in all the lists. So That's the main functions. As a matter of fact, let me see if you guys have any questions. This will be a good time. So Renee saying that the MM layout is not available yet. It says August 2023 test. Yeah, I don't know what that means, and I'll find out though right away. But I could tell you this, it will be available very, very soon, within a number of days, if not today. So we're making that change. We just found that out. It was supposed to be there all this time, and we didn't know. I don't know how to make the Minervini pressure and Virus colors. They are both lines currently. Okay, so let me show you that. So this color, you can also, I have the color and the line. The line is the actual reading. The reading goes from, I believe it's from 0 to 12. The scaling, if you go here, you just go down to, and you can type in search bar if you want, to shortcut. See Minervini RPR, Minervini Biris colors. You could put Biris, it's just going to bring up the arrows. I mean, I'm sorry, the line. You could put colors here, and then if you want, you can go here and you can, oh, sorry, uh, where is it? There's something where you merge it. I think it's right here. Visual order, move to existing pane below. See, and now it overlaps them. If you want to get both, I wouldn't worry about the actual line. It's the colors, the yellow, the red, the yellow, and the green are what matter. So I just duplicated this. You can then move this up, and then it moves together, which is kind of cool. And that's just what I have up here. But I'm going to take that out now. So let me see what else. So that's how you do that. Let's see. Is there a rough estimate for the timing on analytics incorporated into charting and trade grader? I'm entering all my trades in analytics. It will be a bit of a burden to enter a second time. We know that. It's a very tough task because we don't have that exact language that translates without going back to the analytics and saying, put in half position, full position, and put in all that language that we have on the grader. So we'll go over to the grader now. And if I go in here and I put in a trade, right? This is Leos's trades. Remember, we had the conversation. So if we put in, let's just say on this one here, and we go in here and we've got this buy quarter, half, 2/3, overweight, percentage. Well, if it comes over from the analytics, what is it? What's it going to say? And so they have to agree with each other, and that's been the challenge with bringing like brokerage information over. So we're trying to figure out the best way to do that. So it's still taking some time, unfortunately. Uh, let's see. Tried to search for MM layout under chart layout. It's not there. How can I get MM layout? Okay, yeah, well, that's what we're working on right now, and it should be there. And I think what's going to happen is if you just shut down the system and then reload it, it should default to that. So now, if that doesn't happen and you guys aren't able to find this MM layout, please let me know immediately. Send us an email, which now I'm going to get a flood of them, but that's okay because I want to make sure that I know that and we get it fixed right away because I want you guys using a layout that is most efficient, and I think my layout is really a great way to start. Let's see. So on the trade grader, I thought you had a variety of choices for grading, but I don't see those more extensive options on mine. Not sure what you mean, but let's see. So if you go in here and you go into this grading, grade entry, you got, and we're going to add to these. We have not given the full list yet. And I think the best thing would do is if you have suggestions as to what other grades that you'd like, give them to us. And then when we build out that full list, we'll see if it's even necessary to have where you can have custom titles. That's something that we're considering as well. And then again with the entry, same thing. Bought full position, half, quarter, eighth. I even put just percentage numbers so you can put that in there. This isn't to be precise and to calculate your numbers. This is to get an idea where you're buying, where you're selling, and then put a grade on it to whether you did things according to your plan, you did things right, you did things wrong, you went in too soon, and to find those common denominators, of course, by looking at that report card and also looking at them, one by one. Let's see. Can you set up as default? Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. Is there a way for us to add in alerts direct within the charting software? So I'm not sure. We have everything in this has what the trading what the trading view has. So we have ours in addition to everything that trading view offers. So I'm not sure just yet about that, but I think it is in there with trading view, but I'm not sure. And then again, the other thing too is we are working now on, and I can't promise the exact timing to this, but we are working on getting this all real time where you'll be able to pull up the chart and everything will be to the tick real time intraday. So that's exciting too, I think. Um, I see you don't have the Minervini the MPA website menu at the top of your screen. On my screen, the menu take well, that's just that right now I'm zooming in first of all. That's number one for this. So I've just kind of pieced off that. But also, if you go to the grader or the charting, there's a little box, double box up on the right side, and that opens it in its own window, and that will help you take care of that, which it takes up less, and that's very important because otherwise it does. You're right, it does take up a lot of space. As a result, I have a little space in the chart. Yep. Okay. Watch list violations. Okay, that's it. Yeah. Is it possible to get a PDF guide? Yeah, I mean, if you want me to, to put all my time into that and instead of, working on making the platform better. And right now, there's only so much time that I have, and this is taking a lot of time. As a matter of fact, just before the reason why I came late and didn't make it to jump on the end of the session was because I was dealing with three of my coders, and going over making changes. So it's every day. Every day I'm talking with coders, and it's a lot of work. But yeah, eventually we will have a guide. Which screens besides tight would you recommend we screen with? So let's go back to the charting and back to the screening. Um, Now, the stage two is a very wide net, and you could bring this up. It sorts in RPR rank, and you can have whatever cutoff you want. And this is going to be if you want to really just look at everything in a stage two uptrend. Then you can actually widen that a bit and start going out to the additional stocks that are as the screen loosens up. So that's a full overview. But I would look always at the momentum, the IPOs, the tight price. And with that, you're going to see a lot of really great ideas there. You may not see everything, but if you want to see it all, the stage two, and maybe on the weekends, you go through the stage two and you'll look at pretty much everything that's in an uptrend. Let's see. Will there be a universal flag similar to market search that you can sort names already in your list to the bottom of the screens? I'm not sure what that means, so can you just send me an example of that? Email us an example of that and explain that. So if it's yeah, if it's something that we think is doable, we'll look into it and try to do it. I can't get the bars to move to duplicate your layout. The bars to move. I'm assuming maybe you're meaning this stuff like these indicators. And this right here, you see this? This is what moves them right here. So that moves it down, and you go to it, that moves it down. I think that's what you're referring to when you say bars. So right here, it moves it up, and you can move everything around. Um, yeah, this, it's a little complex. There's a lot of things you got to learn on this, but that's why once you get the layout, you just sort of set it and forget it. I don't really change the layout ever. Um, yeah, Richard, I know you're asking about the screens. I mean, again, I use those are the screens I use. The momentum, I look at the IPOs, I look at the tight price, and I look at the stage two. I mean, and that pretty much is a net that's going to cast, and you're going to see 1,000 ideas. You're going to see more than you need to see, and that's the way I would do it. That's the way I do it. Um, well, so thanks for this, Mark. Just curious, why don't you use this charting system when you do your Q&A? Well, the first reason, it's not real time. So we're not getting the current price action. And that's a big problem for me for showing what's going on. So that's one. Two, I've gotten used to those e-signal charts. They're really super clean. But when this is real time and it's ticking, I'm pretty sure I will just be using this because I'll have all the other supportive stuff. But that's the main reason. It's not real time. And that's why we're going to change over to real time. You shows buy and sells on the screen in yesterday's discussion. Is that available? Not sure. Um, so is I don't know who you're asking. Is that available to? It's available to everybody in the grading. So when you go to the grading, that's what grading is for. You can set up a new book if you want. We'll call this add a book. We'll say member. We'll say member question. Add it, right? And we put a stock in here, GE. And now you can go in here and you can right click and say, I bought right here, full position. Okay, I sold some here, sold half here. Okay, over here, close the position. There you go. Just like that. You've got your positions, what you did, your actions, and now I go in here and grade. Entry. Okay, yeah, I bought that a little extended. All right, chased extended. Here, this was a pretty good buy. All right, at a profit, sold perfect. And here, maybe you say you sold late, right? So now this is updating, and this is now updating your report card. Your report card is updating over here for that book. And then it's also going to your master list, which is going to give you a report card on everything. We're also going to include where you can exclude. So if you say, well, you know what? I don't want this included in my master report card. I want this just to have its own report card, and I don't want it to quote unquote pollute my master report card for whatever reason. Maybe it's like I did. I did Leo's is his trades. I don't want them mixed with my trades. So that's something we're programming now, a way where you can exclude that. But and as we do this, we learn things and we're making the changes. And that's why it's so taking so much work and time of mine because I have to be involved in all that. Um, let's see. For those who have multiple screens, it's annoying when you click in another window, for example, on Zacks, and when you return to your screen, clicking down arrow, the screen is blocked. I have to click the title again. Okay, I don't know what this means. I'm sorry. So this is without an example, I'm not visualizing what you're saying. So maybe you send some screenshots or explain it in an email and let us know, and we'll look into that. But I'm not really grasping visually in my mind what you're saying. Um, does a trader show my own grades or does it show how to improve it? I didn't see that. No, it's not going to give you, it's not going to give you advice as far as what to do. Although we are going to eventually add AI. We've been training the AI now for quite a while, I guess maybe close to a year. And you will have some AI assist where it will say, hey, now this is something we found that you're doing a lot, and it could be improved. So yes, it will give quote unquote some advice, but that's a little bit down the road. We first got to get the functionality. To use multiple charts or one, is there a limit to the number of open chart windows I can have open? So I use one and on this. I think we're working on multiple chart windows now to have as well, but I got to check into that. Let's see how to delete a ticker from the list. For example, click on ticker and can't backspace it off. No options, but right clicking. When you say list, I think you're probably referring to the charting here. And that would be just Control X. And if you go Control Z, it'll come back. But Control X, I believe you can just delete it too. Yeah, if you just hit the delete. I think that's what you're referring to. Let's see. If you click setting icon at the bottom of the right, scale price only, it will decompress the chart. Otherwise, moving averages make the chart look compressed. Yeah, you can even, I mean, you can take off, if you double click, see everything will come off and you get just a chart. So, and you can also just move these and compress them and so forth. Let's see. I'm just reading some of your questions. TradingView has earnings shown. You do not. Earnings shown. I'm not sure what that means, but we are working also on having an earnings and sales block at the bottom, similar to what's on Market Surge. That's in the works right now as well. Um, it would be great to link the performance to grading so we can see is the numeric cost of the mistakes. If I buy extended, how much did it cost? That's getting, I think you're missing the point of doing post analysis and So that's another level of analysis, and that's getting into digging into your numbers. And I found it's best to sort of do that separately, and look at the decisions on the chart and whether you're making good decisions. And putting that together is something we thought about, but that is definitely a future generation of getting that all to work together that way. Um, International symbols, yeah, that we've been talking about that, but that's definitely not high on the list right now. Okay, I appreciate all your. I got a lot of comments of that. You guys love the upgrades and the system and a lot of compliments. I appreciate all those. Let's see. It analyzes the creating within the date range so we can see how we are improving over time. Okay, so we are going to also have where you can have a filter and then you can look in date range. And then also when you filter, so now let's just say you filter between two date ranges. You say, okay, I want to just filter, look at everything this year. It will update the report card. So that's really good to like look at a certain period. And you look at the recent uptrend, you want to see how did I do during that period. Look at all the trades during that period, and you look at your report card. So yes, that is something that we're working on, and that is going to be in the form of a filter where you can filter. We're also eventually going to have it where you can put your codes in and filter, say, look at all the the couple of handles, all the low cheats. Let's see. The arrows in the charting, the arrow keys stop working after you click on the chart to say measure. Anyway, any way to keep the arrow keys moving. Okay, that I don't know. I have no clue what you're talking about, but it sounds very concerning to me. So I would like to know about that. So can you immediately send us something on that? And in the subject, when you send it, can you put urgent requested by Mark? So I absolutely know that that's something we talked about and we got to look at. When you say something's not working, I stopped working, I want to immediately address that. So let's look at that right away. Um, Edit your watch list. So editing watch list. Yeah. So, you can in watch list, you can move things around. You can pull them down to other lists. You can just add symbols or delete them. So I'm not sure, what you're saying about editing, but that's how you do it to add or delete. Let me see. I enter a symbol, see it already rated trades in the chart. Is it possible I enter a ticker symbol to see the already rated trades in the chart? Not sure what that means. Sorry, I'm not really sure what that means. Let me just scroll up here, see if I missed anything. I think I got to most of the questions, if not all of them. Let's see. Is there a way to add? Oh, okay, we did the alerts. Yep. Just scrolling through here because I started kind of in the middle. I thought I scrolled it up, but I scrolled up, but I started in the middle. Are you working on portfolio management similar to how your e-signal works, where you can enter a price quantity to have the P&L shown? Yes, yes, we are. We are working on having that where you can have a portfolio, and you can put that in there, and that's going to come with as the real time uh, quoting comes. As that comes, that will develop and it'll be sort of a natural progression into that. Now, we do have a complete redesign coming too, and hopefully it's going to be out within a few months. That's what I'm hoping for, but it's going to take on a whole new elevated look. There's going to be a dark version, a light version. So if you like the white backgrounds and all that, there's also going to be the dark version that has the black background. Some people like the darker version. It's certainly more sexy looking. I like the white version myself, but and it's going to be complete. The layout is going to be updated to much more modern, much more intuitive, and it's pretty dramatic. So that's happening now. And this is going to be a, sort of a 360 product where you have all these elements within this platform, and a whole redesign. So we are working on that too. So there's a lot of things like that of the of having the portfolio and all that that will end up being added to that. Can you show how to keep the measuring tool on your screen? I can't remember how I got this on here, to be honest with you, to stay. It floats around, which I hate it floating around, as you move things around, it doesn't move with it. But I don't remember how I did it, but we can find out. That's not a hard thing. But yeah, um, let me see what else. Any chance you will include total loss to accounts if we enter stop losses in analytics? Okay, so again, I think I know what you're saying. If you have all you put in your stops, and then basically if all the stops are hit, maybe what your maximum downside is, which I think is a great idea. Something that analytics is sort of a little back burnered right now. It will come back to the front burner once we start programming things that are talking to, say, Grader and these other modules, if you will, and we're bringing data over, that's where we start to, address that. But I like that idea. Again, that's something if you don't see happening, let us know again. It doesn't mean that it wasn't a good idea or we don't want to do it. It means that we didn't get to it. And sometimes things sort of get lost in the sauce, and we don't want that to happen. So stay on me. Um, Let's see, it'd be great if you can move a ticker from a watch list to another. That would remove double counting of tickers. Example, a stock XYZ on the watch list, you look at the chart, it has tightened some, you move stock XYZ watch list to on deck. Well, you can do that, and it doesn't. All you do is just do that. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Is this doesn't, and there's no double counting. This actually just moves it. So you're on deck, and I want to go to tight. I just grab it and drop it. Two days later, you see it, and you want to move it again. Yeah, I think that pretty much addresses what you're saying here. If not, let me know. Um, we are recording, right? Please say we are. I don't think we are. Oh, we are. Okay, thank God. I always forget to hit the record button. Um, let's see. From the favorites, the star sign at the bottom left. Okay, I'll look at that. That was the market search thing you were talking about. How do you make the bars darker, more intense? Yeah, I think, with that, you just go to settings here, and then you can um you go your opacities down here. So just right click on there, go to settings, and there's all the different tools. Can use charting with non-US markets. Well, we're not charting the other markets, so no. Can you copy the entire watch list in order to bring it over to your broker? Um, I believe we added that function where you can take the watch list, and I think if you go Control A, yeah, see, and then you go here, copy, and you can just get the symbols. But I don't believe that you can get more data than that, than just the symbols. I'm pretty sure that's all we can do right now. In charting, can you exclude double entries, the same ticker? Disallow entries that are already in the list. Yeah, we're not doing that right now. I know it does that. But if you do that and you double tap on it, you'll see some doubles and you just have to delete them. But right now, we're eventually going to do that, but we're not making that change immediately. There's things that are higher up on the totem pole right now. I see that group list is under the watch list. I just can't delete tickers or move them around on my Monalert. Okay, so Monalert, I don't know. I'm not on Monalert right. Oh, on my Monalert here. Well, my Monalert, no, this is set. This is getting sent over from Monalert. So everything that's in Monalert will come over here. So maybe I should, talk about this too, because you have the open positions. These are all the open positions. Anything that was newly added on the current day will show new. Um, and then you have the select trades, which there's nothing in there now. You have the focus list. This will also show anything added new in the comments. And then you have your own open trades, right? Which this comes over from analytics, whichever's open. And then you have my Monalert, which comes over everything from Monalert comes over here. It's not in portfolios. It's just a dump of everything that's in Monalert. Uh, is there a way to do a data dump into MPA platform so we don't have to manually enter all of our trades onto analytics? Um, I believe there's some importing. That's something you have to talk to Bob about. I don't really know for sure what the data dump capabilities. We've changed it over time. And we're trying to improve it. but you have to, I can't answer that. I don't know for sure. All right, I do have to run now. I just wanted to take some moments to give you guys a chance to ask some questions, to show you my layout, and to discuss a little bit of how I use this. I think if you spend some time with it, you'll see that it's a wonderful tool with using when you put everything together. We didn't try to give these all these different indicators because you have all those here. If you want all the um, classic indicators like stochastics and all that, you can find all that here in this menu. But I don't use any of that. What I use is with my own eyes, and what we tried to do when I think we accomplished it really, but even better than I originally thought we could, was to get those eyes and put them into gauges, where when this gauge is basically, when it's green, it's the same thing as if I looked at a chart and said, hey, I can entertain buying that. Now I got to look for a pivot point, and this is potentially buyable. This all the violations and the confirmations are just what I look for. We've really quantified this and made it as easy as possible. It's not magic, and it's not going to run your portfolio, but as tools, they'll really help. I also think you should spend a lot less time. We thought about having a screener where you put in all your variables like a market surge, and we may eventually do that. And if I do, it'll probably be a slimmed down version. And I'll tell you the reason why. First of all, most people, when they make screens, once they make them, they kind of default to those screens, and that's it. And you don't really, I haven't made any new screens probably in, I don't know, 10 years or so. If I did, it's minor things. I'm running the same screen. Mark Ritchie, Brandon, David Ryan, we're all running the same screens. We've been running for decades, for 10 years, 20 years. So that's one thing. Second is that I felt like I could provide the screens that pretty much filter the entire market, where you would see everything that you need to see. So why have you spend your time on something when it could be used somewhere else that's more important, that is making money efficiently, looking at the charts and deciding what you're going to buy, and just making it as efficient and as fast as possible. And so that's what this is for. And when you put it all together and you use it in the way that it's designed, with Monolith, with all the other modules, it's very efficient. So, and I think it's also great for learning. So with that, I'm going to run, and we'll
Hey, Mark, could I ask you one quick? I
yeah,
think there
yeah,
was a
go
couple
ahead.
questions on adding a watch list on that column, and it's just hashtag and then type, right?
Yeah,
Add,
that's a great question because it's completely unknown. If you just hit the hashtag, we did this basically, I think we did it exactly like eSignal, where if you go hashtag, which would be shift the 3 key, and then I think you have to space and you type in, there you go. Now
so
you've added a list.
there you go. Perfect.
And that automatically adds to when you're in here screening. And now you hit that left key, see it's now in there. And then if you want it at the top, you just move it up. You move this up, and now it comes on the top. And that's so great, because now you just double click. You don't have to scroll down and say, oh, I'm going to add it here. You just put it at the top, and as you screen down, click, adds it right there. And then you can go and have your narrowed list. Anything else, Brand?
Nope, that was the only thing I saw. So
Yeah, and then you can actually move the full list around too. So if you collapse this list, I can move that whole list up, and now it's here, regardless of how many symbols it has. And then to delete it, you can either hit Control X, or I believe you can just hit delete, right? Yep, and you just hit
yeah,
delete.
I know on my system, I just have to hit the delete key. So
I use control. I always use the control keys. I use Control X. I use Control Z. So I'm always using the control keys because I guess I'm used to maybe that e-signal. Um, okay, yeah, is that it? No other questions?
I think that's it. So I'm gonna hit stop recording, and then I guess we can leave the room.
Okay, we'll post this up on the for replay too. if you guys want to watch it. And there's certainly, I'm sure there's lots of people who didn't get a chance to watch this. And I'll try to come in again. Once we make some changes here, I'll come in again and we'll go over it. And to be perfectly honest, I'm learning this as we go along too. I'm using it and I'm learning the capabilities because I'm programming things in here that are even beyond what I'm using currently, or at least using, in a real manner that I've got a process on. I've been building this new system into my process, and I've been very helpful. So we'll do this again, and I'll go over things again as there's updates. All right. Talk to you guys later. Let's get back to work.